waiting room. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Looks like we have lots of folks from our previous session, but I'll just say hello again for anybody that is new. My name is Holly Mays, and I work for the Department of Associated Students as the Assistant Director of Governmental Affairs. I'm one of the advisors to the Senate. I work with the executive offices, and I currently hold some of the responsibilities of the legislative liaison. So I work to help keep the legal code up to date and advise students on legal code. And so that's just a little bit about me. And so today I want to talk about this topic, which is the role of the Senate liaison. But I'm going to talk more generally about what each person's role and responsibility is in that relationship of the liaison. So let's get started. I want to outline some guidelines for engagement today. So as a reminder, these sessions are a part of your honorary requirements. So I do not want to mark you as not here. So please stay through for the duration of the session, or if you have any issues, feel free to reach out to me so that I know that I can mark you as present for this session. Also, I encourage you to make the most of this learning opportunity, participate as much as you are able. And with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to utilize the raise hand function so I can call on you. And then you're also welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. You can send them to me privately, or you can share them publicly. And then also, when engaging in this topic, please do so with respect and sensitivity for one another and for the topic at hand. And also, please take care of yourself during the session. I know we've had a long day. Take a break if you need it. This is a second hydration reminder. Drink some water, and let's go ahead and get started. So first question that I want to pose to you all is, do you know what a Senate liaison is? And do you know who your groups is? Anybody can add in the chat or unmute yourself. Does anybody know what a Senate liaison is? Or if you know the name of your Senate liaison, feel free to share it in the chat. Okay, a yes and a no. Anyone else? Okay, we got a yes and a yes. Okay. Oh, and HRB has Haley, Brioni. Awesome. Yeah, don't be afraid to say you don't know. It's okay. Okay, awesome. Glad to see some yeses. Okay. Try and move this out of the way. So first I want to just take a little step back and define what a liaison is. So Oxford Dictionary defines a liaison as communication or cooperation which facilitates a close working relationship between people or organizations. So how does a working relationship between senators and between BCUs relate to you? And I'm going to ask us to brainstorm some of this together in the next slide. But essentially how this all relates is, well, one, I didn't add it to the slide, but as being a part of Associated Students, we have a shared mission, even if our entities and even if individual senators or executive officers have different platforms or different projects that they want to take on, we all share the mission of providing resources and leadership opportunities to students for development, enrichment, all of that. And we also are a part of a nonprofit organization. And within the responsible use of student fees, it's always really awesome when we can maximize the usage of those fees through a great working relationship, through collaboration. And also, even though we do have a large budget, being able to work collaboratively with one another can really uh, just stretch those like people resources, where there's just more people to pitch in to help get things done. There's more creativity uh, at the table. There's just a lot of benefits to having good working relationships between our BCUs and between the BCUs and our senators. And also good communication between senators and the BCs that they liaise to can result in better representation as well. I mentioned some of the benefits of a collaborative working relationship, and then just the contribution that we make to the association's culture uh, that values this kind of teamwork and collaboration. So, for those of you that have been in a BCU before, what would you say are the qualities of a good Senate liaison? Was that somebody that regularly checked in about your legal code? Was that somebody that participated in the group meetings? Was that somebody that gave you more independence and um, just checked in when was needed? And if you're a senator on today's call, what would you say are the qualities of a good entity? So, is this somebody that regularly communicates with you? What does that look like? I kind of want to see some answers here so that we can identify like what does it look like in an ideal world where we can kind of envision that type of working relationship that we want with each other. Or you can unmute yourself and share too if you don't want to share in the chat. Okay, so we've got always participating. There's also, I think, a good Senate liaison communicates clearly. That will look like consistent correspondence. Good communication on both ends from the senator and the entities, checking emails regularly. That's also a good one. Brainstorming ideas for the upcoming year. Clear and consistent communication, transparency and reliability, checking in. Yeah, these are all really great. I love that there are so many themes of communication and consistency amongst these answers. It seems like you all really value um, those two qualities in the working relationship. Okay, thank you all to those of you that shared. So now I want to talk a little bit about I want to add just one more: attending meetings, being in active communication with each other, and sufficient knowledge about the entity and its plans. Heard that before as well. There are lots of entities that value that level of participation. For the entity, communicates their goals and visions clearly and transparently, welcomes participation in activities. I think that's a great point also. I think that a part of that culture that values teamwork is that we can also value that point that you're making, Jesse, that everybody's welcome to participate in the activities and the planning and all that. Helping write resolutions and bills or reflect the needs of their commission. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this kind of leads into, feel free as you all are thinking about this question more. If you have any other answers, please share them in the chat. But this is a perfect segue into this next slide, which is talking about what are the responsibilities of the Senate liaison. So these are taken from legal code, which I can help you find. I didn't cite my sources very well. But some of the responsibilities of a Senate liaison or just a senator, number one is to hold office hours. This is important for not just their responsibility as a Senate liaison, but just as a representative of students in general, being able to be accessible to constituents is an important value that folks have expressed, and I think is reflected in this responsibility. And then, of course, all the senators have the responsibility of it's referred to in legal code as like sitting on a committee. So you liaise to our BCUs, you sit on other committees, right? If you're an engineering senator, there's the engineering council, I believe that it's called, that you sit on. So there's a variety of committees that senators can sit on as well, or have separately of their liaison responsibilities. And then there's also Senate leadership positions that the senators participate in. So this could look like being the first and second pro temps. This could be sitting on one of the standing committees, which is Finance and Business, the Internal Affairs Committee, External Affairs Committee, and the Basic Needs Committee. So that is assigned by the Internal Vice President's office, all those representative responsibilities. Also, the senator, because the legislative branch has the power of legislative initiative, right? They write legal code. They also have that responsibility to the BCUs, whose bylaws, mission statements, positions, roles, and responsibilities, the standing policies of the department. The Senate liaison plays an important role in that legislative relationship with the BCUs. And the legal code specifies, with the consent and cooperation of the BCU, it's intended to be collaborative and supportive for both parties, so that, you know, we're not writing legislation that the BCUs are unaware of. It's supposed to be like an empowering and cooperative process. Also, some of the other responsibilities of a Senate liaison include reporting events and actions by the BCU to the Senate, and then also vice versa, reporting all legislation that the Senate is voting on and other actions by the Senate to the BCU. So you're going to be sharing information back and forth between the Senate and the BCU, because the idea is that you are in Senate once a week and attending your BCU meetings once a week. Another responsibility is to maintain regular contact with the BCU, particularly the chair and the other leadership, and then also to attend at least 50% of the meetings. Like I said, the relationship isn't one-sided. As you've identified here, there are lots of traits that are valuable for both the Senate liaison as well as the entities or the entity's leadership. So I've identified here what is the role of the chair. And they also have the responsibility in their individual sections of legal code to hold office hours. This can be important for their Senate liaison to meet with them. They also have like a representative component to the work that they do, and there are students that may want to meet with them, or their committee may want to meet with them. The other role and responsibility they have is to communicate issues. I missed the S on that slide there. Communicate issues, events, and updates to their Senate liaison. So the Senate liaison can't report something that they don't know. And then another responsibility is to attend Senate quarterly to give reports. That's referred to in the legal code as a BCU quarterly report. Essentially, that is providing an overview of the work that had been done over the year. The highlights, it is intended to contribute to transparency, so that students at large can hear what the entities are doing. Another responsibility is to maintain regular contact with their Senate liaison, right? So that regular contact has to go both ways. So whatever that looks like for the both of you, is best, whether that's through email, through texting, um, Slack, um, whatever works for the both of you, just with regular contact. And then lastly is to work with the Senate liaison regarding legislation that is pertinent to the entity. It can be really challenging for a senator to initiate legislation and not hear any feedback about it. So part of that cooperation and collaboration amongst each other is that you write the legislation together, you consult together on it so that you're on the same page. I think this is my last slide. So did anybody have any other answers to this question number 2 about the qualities of a good Senate liaison? Is there something that you would add to um, what I've shared? Trying to find my Zoom again. Are there any questions about Senate liaisons or your role and responsibility in general? Does all this make sense? Was it confusing? Can I clarify anything?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said that Senate liaisons will report at the quarterly Senate meeting. Are there dates for that that have been decided for this year, or do they get decided at some point and posted somewhere?
Yeah, so well, one, I'll clarify that it's the BCU, not the liaison, that reports quarterly. So it's like the chair of the BCU or the unit.
Okay.
And then no, the legal code just specifies that it has to be done quarterly. So if I try to keep an eye on it and see if I've heard um, any any folks that are like missing giving the report. But generally, a lot of the reports wind up taking place the last 2 weeks of the quarter. So Senate doesn't meet during study week and finals week. So they only meet the first 9 weeks of the quarter. Um, so yeah, just keeping in mind that like if you think that you have one more week, you may not.
Got
uh,
it. Thank you.
yeah, but there's no time. Like you can come week 1 if you want to give your quarterly report. And some folks do just because there are a lot of BCUs that are doing work over the summer. And so some folks like to just give their report early. Um, to answer your question, Hannah, in the chat, maybe other senators are wondering this question too. Do you know if any of the BCU meetings will be in person starting week 1? I think that with a lot of the return to campus efforts right now, folks are still figuring that out, like what space they're going to be able to be in, if they're going to have in-person membership to do an in-person meeting, if they want to do uh, hybrid or fully remote meetings. But the legal code does account for that. The first 2 weeks of the quarter, if as a senator you're not able to attend, your attendance isn't dinged for it. And I won't speak for B. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to be in today's session, but um, there may be an accommodation that she would be willing to make if there's like a conflict with class or work or something like that. Because in years past, there has been accommodations made where you can instead meet with the chair once a week, or you catch up over email or over the phone or something so that you're able to get updates about how the meeting went and then for you to share what happened at Senate. So depending on what B wants, there could be another opportunity to fulfill that requirement if you're just not able to make the meeting. But for the first couple weeks, as we're figuring things out, and I think, like I said, it's going to be particularly challenging this year because it's not business as usual, unfortunately. So there'll be lots of flexibility, I expect. Yeah, and then I want to share Tara, or maybe it's pronounced Tara's suggestion. A good Senate liaison has clear communication and is proactive when it comes to issues and resolutions. Yeah, absolutely.